Hey guys, we have some big changes that we're going to tell you about today, and we just wanted to kind of let you know what's going on with our lives, with our channel. It's all good. Nothing negative here. Tell them about it.
Okay, so you guys know we've been on the road full time for almost exactly 3 years.
Yeah.
And we had never owned an RV before this. This was our first toe in the water kind of go big or go home kind of.
It wasn't really a toe in the water. We were just like dive in the deep end
Yeah.
and with no life jacket, no nothing.
Yeah.
And we decided to buy a 44-foot toy hauler as our first RV and a big Ford F-350 truck to pull it.
Yeah.
It was go big or go home. There actually was no go home because we eventually sold our house too.
Yeah.
So we're stuck in this thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, some people ask us how that went down. And honestly, I think after the pandemic and then our last kid going to college, we were like, okay, you know, what are we doing here? And I think just kind of in a weird conversation, we knew the houses were selling for a lot of money in Florida where we were. And we kind of just one night went, yeah, but we could sell, make some good money, but we'd have to go live in an RV because we wouldn't be able to afford to buy another one, right? And that's honestly how it started.
Yeah. It just was kind of this crazy conversation that we kind of chuckled about. I went about my way, and then Darlene started researching this whole RV thing,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to me.
Yeah. So he would go to gigs. He'd be off playing at the band. And I would literally sit for hours and hours on end the whole time he was gone, researching this whole lifestyle, trying to figure out, could we do this? And I think once we decided, hey, I think we can do this, we were like, what kind of RV do we get?
Yeah. And so I was like kind of coming into it going, you know, I want something really big because I did not like the idea, frankly, of living in a very small space because, well, I had never done that before. We had a pretty good sized house with plenty of space, and, you know, plus I also wanted to bring all my stuff on the road, right? I felt like, well, if we're going to live in this thing full time, we got to have space for all the things. It doesn't mean you have to totally be a minimalist. I think we've learned a little bit more about that now. But at the time, 3 years ago, being completely new to this, I was like, yeah, but I need to take my workout gear and bikes and
music gear and
all that
fishing
stuff.
gear and, you know, all the things. And so, and at the time, we really thought our college age daughter would be staying with us through the summers, on her breaks. And that hasn't gone the way we thought it would, honestly. So another thing is we both work full time. So we wanted a rig with a layout where we could have door separation because we sometimes were on Zooms at the same time. We couldn't sit side by side and be able to talk on our Zooms. And so we knew we needed separation. So the toy hauler really met a lot of those needs because we kind of converted the garage area into a living space with the desk, and, you know, that's the bed for Sophia when she would visit. We had an extra bathroom at the time, again, really important, right? But I took the dinette out and put my desk in replace of it. So we had that separation. It hit all the boxes we needed it to hit. So when we saw it at the Tampa RV show in 22, we did just what most people do. We were watching all the YouTube videos. We saw Venturesome Couple.
Mm-hmm.
They had this rig and they had done a lot of the things that we wanted to do with the workout equipment and the living spaces. And
yeah, and this also has a side patio on it,
Yeah.
too. If you're not familiar with our rig, it's really unique in that regard. Since then, we've seen some more manufacturers actually come out with side patios, kind of copying us, frankly. But, you know, Alliance had this side patio rig with this particular model, and I really liked that. Again, she was doing a lot of the research, and then I would kind of come in after the fact and be like, okay, so what have you discovered? And I didn't like the idea of, you know, being in the back of the toy hauler and not having a lot of natural light. So when I saw the side patio that actually has a door to, you know, we have two doors that go to the patio, and then one of them goes to the garage area where my office is, and just that little bit of added extra light made a big difference in it. I felt like it also it just sort of opened up the RV, especially if you put the back down as well. I mean, man, it's just
Yeah,
tons of light.
it
coming
really
in.
feels for a toy hauler like a home. And people who have come in our rig before have said that. Oh my gosh, it feels like a home in here. It's not it's everything you would want in one rig. And so yes, it was a little bit bigger for your first RV, but it checked all the boxes. Darlene from the future here. I'm just going to break in really quick and talk to you about something that's not so nice to talk about. Let's talk about the dangers that are going on with this heat we are having. Oh my gosh. Summer brings hot temps almost all across the country. And for RVers, that's problematic sometimes, especially when you have pets. So we always go the extra mile to make sure we absolutely know what temperature is in our RV when we are away. Because let's face it, you can't take your pet everywhere. And if you're on this amazing trip, especially like the national parks or just going out for the day, you don't want to have to worry at all about your pet that you had to leave behind in the RV. So how do you do that? How do you know your pet's safe? What if you had, with heat waves come power surges, and sometimes that will knock the power out at campgrounds. And if you don't have anything that tells you your power went out, tells you it's getting hot in that RV, you could have a serious problem. So people ask us all the time, what do you use to keep Hugo safe? Well, from day one, before we had a YouTube channel, before we knew anything about RVing, first thing I did was buy a Waggle pet temperature monitor. And I wanted to absolutely not have to worry at all about not knowing what was going on back at the RV. Now, it works really, really well with their app. The app notifies you when, say you're out and about and you lose power, you're gonna get a notification telling you you can do text, you can do email, in-app notification, you're gonna know. And that way you can reach out to the campground or get back to the RV and take care of the situation right away so you don't ever have those horror stories. But to take it even further, what we use in addition to the pet temperature monitor is this little mini camera. I love this thing. And this, obviously you can see I am not in the RV right now. We are having some repair work done and we're in a hotel. I actually brought this to the hotel so that I could put it and be able to check on Hugo because I wasn't quite sure how he would react to all the sounds and noises that are in a hotel, especially if we have to leave. So this thing is so versatile. I just hook it up and it has like the 360 rotation of the camera. It's gonna follow your pet around the RV. You're always gonna have a good view. It has got, you can see it at nighttime and daytime. I just love this combo of the pet temperature monitor and the mini camera. It's so convenient. But here's the really exciting part. They are gonna give you, if you're interested in the pet temperature monitor, you're gonna get 75% off when you use the code LIKE, L-I-K-E, and the link that we provide for you. And I'll put this all in the description and I'll put a QR code for you to scan as well. So that's really cool. This is a great time to get it for under $50. Amazing. Another thing, now there is a monitoring fee. It's like less than 50 cents a day, guys. And you can turn it off and on. So if you're not a full-timer and you're just a part-timer and you're going out for maybe some summer trips or you're seasonal, you can turn it off in the times that you're not traveling. So that's really convenient as well. Now on the camera, if you are interested in the monitor and the camera combo, this is really cool. You're gonna get an additional 10% off. So you can get both of these for like, I don't know, $115, $116. That's a great deal. And all you have to do is enter the code HUGO and use the link below to get that. So really great offer for our community. And we're so glad to bring it to you. And we're so happy to be partnering with Waggle on this. But let's get back to today's episode. Well, you and I and everybody always know, once you get into something, you start living, life changes, your needs change. And I think that's kind of where we've come is it is time to sell the toy hauler and get something new.
Yeah. Before we talk about what we're going to get, we would like to, we'll just kind of do a recap of some of the cool stuff that we've done with this rig because we've been full-time for almost 3 years, like Darlene mentioned. We, again, still work full-time, so we only like to move every 2 weeks. But even in those 2 week intervals, we've been to some amazing places.
Oh my gosh. We have been so many cool places in this RV. It really is because we do have all the solar and the capability to go off grid. We have, had these amazing views in Utah, particularly Bryce Canyon and Zion. We camped on BLM land outside of both of those places. And that was it's what inspired us to do this channel.
Yeah, without question. I mean, we were actually pretty hesitant to even do a YouTube channel. Everybody told us that we should because we're both marketing professionals. That's what we've done for our entire career. So people are like, oh, it's a natural thing. It's like, yeah, but we both also work full time. We don't want to work on weekends and nights, to work on a YouTube channel. But when the very first time that we boondocked, which was right outside of Bryce Canyon, we had just gotten our solar installed, and we were just it was our first trip. We were just so enthralled by that whole lifestyle and the freedom that it gave us, because up until that point we had been staying at RV campgrounds like everybody else for how long? Probably
a year almost.
Yeah, I mean, because when Darlene, being the planner that she is, she didn't, and again, just kind of being a little overwhelmed by this whole thought of full-time RVing. She's like, well, what are we going to do if we don't have a campground? I'm going to book an entire year in advance. And that's what she did.
I did.
It cost us not a small fortune. It cost us a fortune.
I think in that year we realized, how expensive it can be to stay at these really nice resorts and stuff. And that, I think, gave us the desire to try to get the ability to have partial hookups or off-grid completely. And that's what this rig is so great for. It really is.
No doubt. And we've went through different iterations. I was going to try to install the solar myself. I ended up buying all of the stuff. And then I determined that there's no way, I certainly was not qualified to do it. And then two, it was just going to take so much time. So we ended up hiring some solar installer guys to come out and install it. But I ended up getting some better deals on the stuff that I bought, and I did learn about how a lot of it worked. And then we also thankfully got Redodo batteries, which we were turned on to by a solar consultant that I had actually hired ahead of time. And they kind of, so we learned a lot about that, got a proper setup. And then, that's not the only thing there is to boondocking, right? You have to deal with water, and you have to deal with sewer. And so you can watch a lot of our videos to see kind of how we got better at that over time and learned a lot about it. In fact, we are going to release a course on boondocking pretty soon. But regardless, this thing can go off grid. We've went over this in previous videos, but we don't have enough solar power to where we could actually run our air conditioners.
You can run them for a short amount of time. It's not that you can't.
You can do that, but now this rig could certainly be upgraded. You could fit a lot more solar panels on the top.
It has room.
You could store tons more batteries if you could figure the situation out. We do not have an onboard generator. We had one. We had an old one that we had bought at the end of the pandemic.
It's wired for it.
Yeah, it is wired for it. I really hated that particular unit just because it was inconsistent and smelled bad and all that. We ended up getting rid of it. We ended up getting an external generator, a portable generator that's worked out fantastically. But again, it is prep for generator, so if you want to put a traditional like a Onan or something in there, you could totally do it.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this rig is going to be really great for someone because not only are all the kinks worked out, we've improved so many things on it. We have, honestly, guys, the lifetime warranty on the roof from Flex Armor. That's huge, and it's kind of makes me sad to let it go. But
we just had it done, not even a couple months ago.
And it's transferable. So when we are ready to sell, and we'll tell you more about that, we'll do a whole sale video on the rig itself. But I think we want to just share with you how we got to this point of even wanting to change it after we did all these incredible things to the rig. I think the need just changed, right? So we started, I think what sparked it may have been the Tampa RV show this year. I think when we took a look at some of the new fifth wheels and what they're offering in them and the improvements they've made and just a little bit maybe nicer finishes, a little bit more room, because the thing about the toy hauler, you give up some of the room to have the garage. And it's great if you, I'll tell you what, it's great if you have kids and you wanted to put the kids in the garage, or if you have our situation where you want to work or you have a business or a hobby or something, you needed that space, I think it is great for that.
I love the what we did with the Happy Jack system. We realized that, because originally this thing had those seats installed. They were kind of like
bucket seats.
They're like buckets. I almost think of them like a diner. If you go in there, and you sit at a booth. That was kind of what was installed, and they had this table thing. We didn't want any of that. We kept it for a little while, and what I really wanted was a proper desk and then a proper workbench, essentially. Yeah. And so that's what I put on the Happy Jack system, and it goes up and down. It gets out of the way when we're moving, and then I can just pull it down. I absolutely love it. So that you're going to have that system in it as well if you were to consider buying this. What else?
Well, the thing that we're at right now and where we are in the whole process is we are preparing this rig to sell. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into that, and we'll be showing you our journey to we have a little bit of warranty work we need to have done. So she's getting a spa day, as they say. She's going to go to the spa and get all prettied up.
Yeah, we're actually in Elkhart, Indiana right now. It's 4th of July weekend. It's hot as can be.
That's why we're inside.
We're filming inside. But we're taking this to the factory on early Monday morning, and we're actually going to be displaced for a little bit. But thankfully, our family is from southern Indiana, so we're going to be driving down and staying with the family here for a little bit.
So we are taking some things out in order to get it spruced up in the way we want it to. We have to take some of the things out. So we got a storage unit. We're going to take some stuff, put it in storage. And then we are on a journey to look for what we want next. And that's where you guys come in.
Yeah. So we really want a 2026, which they're actually just coming out now. It's frankly, a little challenging to find them, as you can imagine. They're not even rolling off the factory floor to a large degree until even at the end of this month. So, but there are some dealers that actually have some. So we're going to go take a look at some of the 2026 models. And I think we can go ahead and say we are actually now Alliance ambassadors. And what does that mean? That just means that we love Alliance.
Yeah.
This is an Alliance RV.
And people ask us all the time. I mean, at this point, we're so happy with our valor and our experience with Alliance. We wouldn't be changing it even if we weren't ambassadors. And they don't pay us to be. It's just we love the brand, and we're an advocate for them because we like how they run their business. We like how they treat their customers. We've had a great experience, so we know we want to stay with an Alliance. We just don't know how small we're willing to go. I have a desire to be smaller because this big rig kind of gives me some anxiousness, especially when we're in the mountains and tight spots and stuff like that. I think that what we have learned is we definitely could go smaller and have less stuff and be happy.
Yeah. I feel like we're at a different place in our life. We've learned a ton over the last 3 years. We definitely learned that we could size down. One of the things, because I had this mindset of I wanted to take all my toys with me, well, it's kind of a drag packing all that stuff up all the time, putting it into the toy hauler or the garage area. So I've kind of had a mind shift on the way I'm wanting to do things moving forward. But now I just want to circle back. When it comes to Alliance, people might ask us, what's the big deal with Alliance? And I'm actually going to go back to an original conversation. She mentioned Venturesome Couple. Mm-hmm. We saw their videos that they had made about this particular rig, and that's what really got me interested in it. But ironically, when we went to the Tampa RV show in 2022, they were there.
Yeah.
And it was like the worst weather day ever. It was horribly cold for Florida.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of all congregated inside the rig. And I just remember Chris from that channel, because at the time we were still debating between Alliance and Grand Design and all the big brands at the time. And he kind of pulled me aside and he said, look, let me just tell you about Alliance, the reason that we went with Alliance. And he said it's because a lot of these RVs are the same. A lot of them, they get their parts from the same manufacturers. It's kind of like we're in Elkhart right now, where there's
RV this Central. Factory after factory out
there. And all the Lippert and Moride, all this kind of stuff. They're all so they all get a lot of the parts from the same places. He said so. A lot of these rigs are going to be very similar. He said, but the difference is how do they treat you after the sale?
Yeah.
And we've literally never spoken to our dealer. We bought from Blue Compass. and have never
We've
spoken to
never
him since.
went there again. Yeah.
Nothing on Blue Compass has just never come
Yeah.
up. We've dealt directly with Alliance, and but what he said, and I've found to be totally true, is he said they will do the right thing. That's literally, they have a huge, I've been in the factory, and they have a huge banner in the factory that says do the right thing.
Yeah.
And what that means is you're going to have problems. You just will.
Yeah.
We've had a few things that are broken. No, we've had no major problems like, slides not working or things like that. But when you do have some kind of issue, they will take care of it no matter what, in terms of like,
If they can, if it's something that,
like FedExing you apart, because they understand as RVers, especially full-time RVers, if you're stuck in a particular spot and you can't leave because a certain thing isn't working right, that's a big problem for people, and they'll bend over backwards to make sure that you have what you need. Maybe you can add.
Yeah, I mean, here I have I'm in all the Facebook groups, and there's always lots of complaining on brands, right? There's always, the unhappy people are always the ones that speak the loudest.
Most vocal.
Yeah, they're the most vocal. And the happy people don't constantly post, I'm happy. So, I mean, I never go in there and do that. However, I mean, they're not perfect, but they will get you there. I mean, it's just like sometimes things are not under warranty anymore. So that happens. So I have asked for advice from their team before about, getting something taken care of that's not under warranty anymore, things like that. So I just think we've had such a good experience that we're not willing to jump to another brand to start over fresh when we know we have a good experience with Alliance. So we know we're staying in that umbrella. Now, whether or not we're going to go with the smaller, avenue, or we're going to be Paradigm, there's so many options. So we're going to take you with us on our shopping spree. I don't know if it's not a spree.
Oh, it's a spree.
On our shopping journey, and kind of share with you what we're thinking when we see a rig, and what is important to us, and what it will make our lives a little better in the rig. And so we're going to kind of go over some of that with you guys and ask you to chime in with your experience in the comments. I mean, we love hearing from you guys. I almost always answer every comment. So unless you're a jerk, then I just swipe you off. Then I don't comment. And so, I would love to hear your journey. Have you done something like this? What did you do? Kind of thing.
Yeah, because they say the average RV owner owns like 5 rigs or something.
Yeah, 5
So we're only on our second one. So we're
way behind. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So right now we think this is the direction we're going. Obviously, first step is this rig getting fixed. Then we're going to do a real video on selling. And we'll take you along all the things that we have to do to get it ready. I think that might be interesting for some of you, because we're all probably going to be in this position eventually, selling, especially when you're full-time trying to sell something. It's a lot of juggling. So,
and in case, if you've been watching our videos for a while, you're probably familiar with our rig, and you might be interested in buying it. If that's the case, just send us a private message on our website. Go to likethere'snotomorrow.net, and we could chat that way. We'll tell you, what we're thinking about the sale price, what we're thinking about, where it's going to be located, and all those details. So just let us know, and we'll get back with you.
So there you have it. We're officially putting our toy hauler up for sale and starting the search for our next RV adventure. But here's the thing. We want you to come along for this entire journey with us. Soon we're taking you behind the scenes as we prep this rig for sale, all of the deep cleaning, repairs, and staging that goes into getting top dollar for your RV. Then we're bringing you along as we start hunting for our next home on wheels. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because you won't want to miss this transition process. We'll show you the good, the bad, and everything in between as full-time RVers navigating selling one RV and finding another while still living on the road. This isn't the end of our RV story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter, and we can't wait to share it all with you. See you soon.